This movement is meant to train scapular retraction mainly and protraction secondarily. All right, so scapular retraction, protraction, making it a shoulder movement. All right, so that is the main focus of the movement. Now, the ring row trains the lats, the rhomboids, the middle lower traps, the rear deltoid, the teres major and minor. All these muscles are coming together to create this great shoulder pulled back or retracted position, which is going to carry over into getting your chest to the bar on like a pull-up, for instance, because that last little few inches, scapular retraction. And we find that this is actually pretty weak, and sometimes having this weak also means that you struggle with your front rack, right? So this becomes a great fundamental for not only going towards those pull-ups, but also just being able to move your shoulders the way that they're meant to move so that you can do those higher speed loaded movements down the road. Now, when we do the ring row, we've got to make sure that we keep a few things in mind. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is just body position. It's a relative hollow body position, which means a slight posterior pelvic tilt, anterior core is engaged the whole way through, and that hanging position would look something like this. So if you notice, my toes are pointed and I kind of got this hollow shape. I'm not going to exaggerate it into that position though, okay? So it's just a general hollow. It's not excessive. It's relatively close to neutral. Next, with the ring row, we talk about the scalability of it. The ideal ring row is going to be with the straps hanging vertically, and the ring height is going to be if you were standing about at your hip height. Right, so that's a good way to kind of set it up, is these are about at hip height. These for me are actually just slightly below and it works fine, all right? But you can play with that a little bit. But that will execute a good horizontal body position that I could pull from. To scale it, I just walk my feet back and you'll see these rings come at more of an angle, which puts a little bit more load into my feet, offloading my shoulders, making it an easier movement to execute with great form. I recommend everybody focus on the form as they progress downward and not just jump straight to this vertical strap position, right? Now, great form is going to show that the elbow starts to bend and the shoulder starts to initiate backwards and down, engaging the lat first and then all those scapular muscles. We don't want to start with a scap squeeze, okay? So if we look at it, it's happening all simultaneously. It's not scapular retraction, then pull and stay there, right? We want to make sure that we're going into protraction at the hanging position, good body position, pulling the shoulders back as we bend the elbows and pull, keeping the shoulders down away from the ears and opening up to that ring, okay? So while my fingers are hitting my chest on the inside, I'm not just letting my shoulders roll into that position where I'm basically doing a curl, right? I'm pulling that scapula together, which by consequence makes my chest come into that position, right? And that's something I see commonly go wrong with this. But let's look at the shoulder really quick. At that end range, we're going from protraction, retraction. So if I pull my elbow back and look at that, you can see this part of my shoulder is opened up, right? But what I tend to see a lot is that, you see how the shoulder is now kind of forward at the top of it there? But everything else is back. That peeled my scapula back. I can no longer properly, fully retract my scapula. So I need to make sure that I'm here when I pull back, not here. Okay, that engages those lats and the middle lower traps and rhomboids. And that's what our main focus is on this movement, because it carries over to so much more movement. It's a great fundamental, and you can progress this in the amount of difficulty you're having, so the load changes like this. But then if you elevate your feet up on a box, you can do it even harder. You could even have a partner stack some weights on you if you want to get crazy with it. The point is, very progressive movement, carries over to a lot of movements, keeps and maintains the health of the shoulder much better than some of those other alternatives. Okay, so if you want to know what success might look like in this movement, in other words, like a target for you to get to before you kind of don't use it as much or use it differently, I would say a minimum of 5 reps from a full vertical strap would be a good one with control. So it needs to be like 2 seconds down, 1 second up, a little pause at the top. If you can do 5 reps like that, then you're probably golden on this movement and can start training more advanced movements through the rings especially.